Today, Congressman Chris Smith honored a true hero. 88-year-old Bordentown resident Harry Havens says he's not a hero, but many people may disagree. He was a prisoner of war in World War II.
They say I'm a hero, but I don't know about that.
Harry Havens has lived in Bordentown his entire life, and at the age of 19, he was introduced to the United States Army. Harry was awarded the Silver Star for events that took place on November 20th, 1944.
After intense enemy artillery fire wounded him in the back and inflicted 8 other casualties, Technical Sergeant Havens guided 4 injured men 400 yards back to an aid station. Without waiting for his wound to be dressed, he returned to his platoon's positions in order to evacuate another casualty. Despite shells that burst as close as 10 yards to him, Technical Sergeant Havens carried the wounded man back to the aid station without pausing to take cover.
Havens also received the Distinguished Service Cross for heroic actions in January 1945.
When his platoon was caught in the crossfire of 3 machine guns, Sergeant Havens mounted a friendly tank and directed fire which killed 7 and forced the surrender of 10 Germans. Charging 100 yards through a hail of fire, he burst into an enemy-held house, killed 2 Germans, and dispersed the remainder. After leading his men through an anti-tank and 88mm fire in the capture of 3 guns, Sergeant Havens assaulted a communications trench, captured 4 of the enemy, then led a room-by-room fight for possession of 12 buildings.
But today, Havens is receiving a different medal. This medal is to honor him for the month and a half that he was a prisoner of war.
It was starting to get daylight, and we could hear these tanks moving, but we didn't know whose they were.
Harry says moments later he did notice these tanks were German, and he asked a man with a bazooka to go to the side of the building and shoot at the tanks. Unfortunately, Harry sadly told us that this man went too far away from the building and was shot at. Harry says he then knew they needed to surrender, which led to them being taken back to the German camp in a truck.
Grabbed a hold of the curtains on the truck and flipped them apart and everything. Look, here's 2 guys sitting with a machine gun pointing right at us. German lieutenant, he comes flying in a Jeep, in a German Jeep. And he starts hollering, 999, you know, which meant no. And so, come to find out, he had been a prisoner, former prisoner of the Americans, and they had docked him up and fixed him up and everything, so that saved our skin.
Harry touched us all as he read a note that he wrote to his family almost 2 months later, telling them that he was a prisoner and that he was now liberated. I'm sure many people would agree that he is the true meaning of a hero. And Harry, we thank you for your service. Reporting in Hamilton, Rose Eckler, WWII News.